I'm back, baby. First time in the studio since pre-COVID-19 pandemic, and oh, it feels very good. To celebrate a brand new wrinkle to our segment this morning, this one we are calling Turn Back the Clock. This time of reflection got us thinking about the good old days here at BronxNet. What better way to celebrate the good old days than with the New York Yankees and Yankees Old-Timers Day? This one takes us back to Old-Timers Day at Yankee Stadium in 2018. This one features some brand new Yankee old-timers, maybe some guys that you think are too young to be old-timers. Check this out.
It's so special for me. I was able to celebrate my birthday the other day. It's just been a really good weekend for us. My grandbaby was able to come up and travel up here. It was the first time in the last few years that I've been invited to Old Timers Day where I wasn't coaching. I coach high school baseball. I coach my son's team, and so everybody was like, "You got to go. We got to go to New York. We got to go to New York. You don't have nothing going on." So it's just turned out to be a wonderful, special time for us, and New York's always a special place.
The first Old-Timers Day, Joe DiMaggio took my locker. He wore my shoes. He wore all my stuff. I still got it. And I was in awe. And Mickey Mantle was my favorite player, of course. And to be able to see him not play when he did, but when I was a young kid and coming up through the Yankee organization, he was the best.
Oh, it's great. I mean, the Yankees are the only team that can do this. And they're still pulling out star-studded people, like guys that I respected playing against for so many years, and some guys I got to play with. And it's great seeing Giambi and Swisher here. I don't know when the last time I actually saw them. It had to be like 4 years ago, but it's just great catching up.
This has been a long tradition right here in the BX, and now the New York Mets and their new leadership have done something special by bringing back Old-Timers Day to Queens. Not only did the Amazons bring it back at the end of the month of August, but they did so in style with members from the two championship teams, 1969 and 1986, and even some younger stars, players like Mike Piazza and Jose Reyes returning to Flushing. Kudos to Mets owner Steve Cohen for a special night at Citi Field that included the retirement of number 24 for baseball icon and New York City legend Willie Mays. The Mets won the game that night too, so special all the way around. More on the Mets Old-Timers experience with another new portion of our sports roundup this morning in the C-List, so stay tuned. We shift gears to the National Football League. Despite the New York Jets losing star up-and-coming quarterback Zach Wilson to injury during the preseason, Gang Green somehow put together an undefeated preseason. The Jets finished 3-0 after defeating the New York Football Giants at MetLife Stadium in the annual Snoopy Bowl. I know you were watching. The G-Men came in at 2-0 as well, but watched as the Jets stormed back in the closing seconds of the fourth quarter to win this one 31-27. The preseason usually does not amount to much when it comes to the regular season, but both the Giants and Jets have to feel good coming into the month of September and the start of the NFL's regular season. Jets head coach Robert Saleh can't wait for Sunday, September 11th, when the Jets open the season at home against Baltimore at 1 p.m. Here's Coach.
I thought we got enough work in. The objective was to go out there, get our O-line together for the first time, and just go and execute the best way we know. I felt like they moved the ball well. Sloppy turnover from Michael with the fumble, sloppy interception with Joe, but just you could see we're just a little out of sync with the offensive line in terms of the run game and our running backs hitting the hole the way they needed to, and so that part's got to be better, but overall you could see this was a necessary evil to get these guys out on the football field so they can play together.
Meantime, Bronx native and G-Men star Saquon Barkley gives us his take on the latest with the Giants.
I wouldn't really say week one was the one that I circled. It was just kind of just camp, just football in general. I was so excited to get back, fresh start, new faces, familiar faces, and even though it's long, it's tiring, but, in a weird way, you kind of love the grind of camp. And that's where you kind of build your team together, find out, what you need to work on, find out what things that, we're capitalizing on in camp, and take that on to the season. So that's been my mindset. It was never really circling week one or a certain game. It's really just coming into camp and just from right there, attack that day and attack that process and get better every day.
Barkley has taken his hits and bounced back nicely for the Giants. You could say the same for the newest UFC world champion, Leon Edwards. The MMA world still buzzing about his victory over Kamaru Usman. Edwards' triumph in becoming a UFC world champion is about so much more than the sport, so much more than the history-creating moment of being only the second British fighter to win a UFC title. To me, it's literally Rocky in real life. Michael Bisping reached the milestone at middleweight after his own deep struggles in 2016. Now there's Edwards, too. Edwards' cage nickname is Rocky, actually. The narrative goes deeper with him. The path to his victory is one with survival written all over it. Survival through hardship in Kingston, Jamaica, survival from gang culture as a teenager, and much, much more. Usman won the last one, but not this time, folks. Here's Edwards following the shocking upset in UFC 278.
It's hard to put it into words, and that's the reason why I broke down in Octagon, because it all just came down. Everyone's seen my path, everyone knows my path and how it went, and I've been saying all week that I believe that was the way it was meant to go, to build me into the man I am today, build my mental toughness. And even though that was one of my worst performances, I did not feel good in there tonight, and I went out there and knocked out the pound for pound, so it is what it is.
Closer to home, the New York Liberty of the WNBA have been a terrific Big Apple story this summer. The stars of the Women's Basketball League gave us a playoff berth despite injuries and some ups and downs during the regular season. Not bad for their first-year head coach and a young squad making strides in the BK in Brooklyn. We go back inside the locker room for more.
There's a lot of great franchises in this league, but I think, I see what Joe and Clara, their vision for this program. Our goal is to bring a championship here, and I think we have the facilities. I think that's a great selling point, especially with the crowds that we've got towards the end of the career. I think getting that support, that's fun, and it's Brooklyn. So, hopefully they like the pieces and what we did this year and what we're trying to build, and we're just a few pieces off. So it's not that we have to blow up the whole team. So we're just, a few pieces off. If we can get the right pieces, that will help, obviously, us continue our development.
I'm extremely excited about the future of not only the WNBA, but especially the New York Liberty right here in the Big Apple. They have something special on the horizon, and you can see it. Very much. We saw it all season long. Now might be the time for us to head into our attics, folks, and take a look at those baseball cards that have been discarded in the shoebox upstairs. The sports memorabilia market has been absolutely booming. I'm talking jerseys, trading cards, shoes even, fetching six-figure sums. Another memorabilia record was broken just recently. A mint condition 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card was sold by Heritage Auctions for, get this, $12.6 million. Anthony Giordano, a New Jersey waste management entrepreneur, originally purchased the card for $50,000 in 1991. I'm sure some of you might actually have a Mantle rookie stashed away somewhere in your house if your mom didn't throw out those baseball cards back in the day. The sale surpassed the $7.25 million total that a T206 Honus Wagner card, that's a holy grail when it comes to card collectibles, sold for earlier in the month of August. The record for the highest selling sports card has changed now 3 times since January of 2021. It has been held by 2 different Wagner T206 cards and another 1952 Mantle rookie card. Who says baseball cards aren't a worthwhile investment? To the C-list for a Bronx legend and a new angle for us here on our Sports Roundup. Our newest is called Where Are They Now? Well, Edward Kranepool is now 77 years old, and he looks mighty good, and he looked great at Mets Old-Timers Day. You might not know this, but Ed Kranepool is from the Bronx. In fact, he's one of the greatest homegrown talents to ever play in this borough. He spent his entire Major League Baseball career with the Amazons, the New York Mets. He was predominantly a first baseman, but he also played in the outfield. Kranepool attended James Monroe High School right here in the Bronx, where he began playing baseball and basketball. Mets scout Bubba Johnard signed Kranepool in 1962 at the age of 17 as an amateur free agent here in the Bronx. The Bronx native then got his start with the expansion Mets in that inaugural season of 1962. The 17-year-old signed with the club that June after a successful season at James Monroe High School, where he hit 9 home runs to break a record set by Hall of Famer and fellow Bronx legend Hank Greenberg. Open quote, "This boy has got some major league power right now," close quote, then manager Casey Stengel said. Open quote again, "I'm damn glad that we got him for the good of the ball club in the future," close quote, the great Casey Stengel. It was marvelous to see Ed Kranepool back with the Mets at Old-Timers Day. And folks, it's been marvelous to spend this Monday morning roundup right here with you from the confines of our BronxNet studios. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.